Hey, hey, hey. Okay, tonight we're going to be talking about feeling like you're losing your mind in your grief, feeling like you just don't know what's going on, and like you're literally losing your mind. Do you ever feel like you're losing your mind when your person died? I don't think it happens right. That feeling of losing your mind didn't happen right immediately. I honestly think it is something that comes after the time because initially we have the shock. Initially of losing our person, we have the shock. And so right when we lose our person, our body isn't really transforming the emotions yet. So whether we lose them through divorce, they say they don't want to be married anymore, or whether we lose them through breakup of a romantic relationship or through death, our body goes into shock. Time will happen. And as time happen, and as the time passes on, the emotions start to come up. And when the emotions come up, what happens is that the emotions come fast, they come hard, and they come with crazy thoughts. And it is the crazy thoughts that make us feel like we're losing our person. 100%. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. You put your keys in the refrigerator. You forget whole conversations. I never talked to her. I don't remember talking to her. You walk into a room and you can't remember what you went in there for. That's not being careless. That's being scatterbrained. That's grief scattering your brain. That's the grief brain because grief hijacks your focus. It hijacks your memory. It hijacks your body. And it leaves you wondering if you ever feel yourself again. I'm not talking about why my grief feels like I'm losing my mind. And yes, I feel like I'm losing my mind. And I know I'm not broken. I know that I'm grieving. It's that I really feel like I'm losing my mind. And if you're ready to go deeper in that, then this is where we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about here why you feel like you're losing your mind when you're grieving. I want you to understand that the grief brain is real. Grief brain is a thing. Yeah, you didn't get a diagnosis about your grief brain from your psychiatrist, but I'm here to tell you grief brain is a thing. It is absolutely a thing. And it is a thing that we feel for sure, 100%. Hey, EK, how you doing, love? Hey, Becky. Hi, Suzanne. Okay, let's get into it. You put your keys in the fridge, you forgot conversations, you're standing in the room and you can't remember why you're there. Now, a lot of us have these experiences anyway, but they are heightened with our grief. They're heightened with our grief because we're living in the fog. We're living in the foggy brain. I didn't used to be like this. I'm telling you, people tell me all the time, I was sharp. I was a multitasker. I could keep it together. I ran my whole entire house. My life was planned out 5 years at a time. My whole family, everything that my family was doing is running in my brain. I knew where my bills were. I knew when they were due. I knew who had a birthday. I remember people's phone numbers. Everyone will call me and ask me phone numbers. I knew what groceries we needed before I even looked. And I worked on projects like none other. These are what grievers tell me. I was present. I was present in my life. I was present in my kid's life. And then she died. And then that moment, it was like somebody pulled the plug on me. It's like the lights went out. I'm still here, but the lights are gone. The fog is so thick, I cannot see 3 feet in front of me. I walk into the kitchen and I freeze. I'm holding my phone in my hand and I'm looking for my phone the whole time. Sometimes I'm even staring at it and I'm trying to find my phone. I drive to the store and I don't get out of my car because I can't remember what I got there, what I need from there. And nobody told me that this would happen. And nobody warned me that my heart would be this broken. Does any of that sound familiar? Your brain goes right along with it. It goes along with it. It is scared. It's scared, and so it's distracting you. Grievers even tell me that sometimes they feel like they're going through dementia. They honestly feel like they're broken for good, like this is never going to come back for them. Have you ever scared yourself wondering if you were really losing your mind since your loss? Since your person, you just haven't been there. Like things just haven't been the same. And then that's what we're talking about today. And you guys, I'm really putting on the full picture. Sometimes I've just heard one or two of these things from one person, but there's a lot of times that people tell me they're absolutely living this. Conversations slip away. Hey, Miss Debbie, people talk to the people will talk to you and you swear you didn't hear a word they said. But here's the other thing that you do. You nod like you hear it and you smile and you even answer sometimes. But if we were to give you 5 minutes and then come back to you and ask you what they said, you wouldn't even be able to tell me what they said. Kimberly James, that's because grief is happening in your heart, my love. Your brain is not broken, my friend. Your heart is broken. Hey, Miss Jerry, how are you doing? Kimberly, I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to keep this lesson is titled "I Feel Like I'm Going Crazy," and sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy in my grief. We start faking it. We start pretending that we're following along. We're hoping that no one notices that we're not getting it, but sometimes they notice it and try to stay on at work. People look at you like you've lost your mind. Sometimes at family dinners, you zone out. And this is why. Because the griever's brain is constantly replaying the memories in their mind. You guys, hear me out when I say this. The griever's brain is constantly replaying memories of their person in their mind. You immediately start to do a review of your relationship. You immediately start to do a review of your relationship. I'm not kidding. This is true. I've said it so many times. You open the drawer on your relationship and you start going through every memory you ever had. Oh, there's a toothbrush. Oh, yeah, there's a marker. Oh, yeah, I remember that memory. Here's a flashlight. I remember that memory. Here's the pencil, the pen that he gave me with my signature on it. There's that memory. Your brain starts digging up all of this stuff. It starts digging up all of the memories that you've ever had of your person. And as your brain starts digging up all of the stuff of every memory you've ever had of your person, these are all the things that you can think about. You're not thinking about what kind of bread you were supposed to bring for dinner. Your brain is digging through every memory it's ever had. That is why a lot of times you will see grievers do this. If any of you are watching me following me on social media, about 4 weeks, not 4 weeks, about 4 or 5 days ago, maybe as much as 7 days ago. And I shared this before, but I caught my mom just looking at her wedding ring. I shared this yesterday. I caught her just looking at her wedding ring and actually was down here. So she had her hand down here and she was just playing with the ring and she was just looking at it. And today she said, I'm starting to feel all alone. I'm starting to feel all alone. We're all with her. Her kids are all with her. She was with all of her kids last night, minus me, but she was with all of her kids last night. And she said, I'm starting to feel all alone. She said, exactly how I felt when your dad left. Some of the things that happen to us don't happen to us until after the funeral, after things have slowed down. But when we go in to the memories, we are out of the moment. Grievers are more out of the moment than they are in their moment. They are not in their present moment. And that's why a lot of times you'll hear me say present moment, present moment, present moment. They pretend like they're following along. They're hoping no one noticed it. But that we notice it. We notice it. I just looked over at my mom and saw her being out of the moment. And so I snapped a picture of her and posted it on Instagram. And I just titled it The Ring. So what are we thinking? We're thinking about every moment but this present moment. And because we're not in the moment, but things are happening in the moment, we're missing out on it. You hear the conversation going on, you're just not in the conversation. We sit here with a blank face because we have no idea what people are talking about. When we finally come back into the conversation, we don't know where to catch up. We don't know where to catch up. And that's why we feel like we're losing our mind. And because they start talking to us like we've been in the conversation the whole time is when the embarrassment hits. Then you start to think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I keep up? You can keep up, but your brain took you out of the moment. Your brain immediately goes to the ring. It starts to go through the ring. Then it has a memory. And then you see the memory happening in your brain. So you see the ring, then there's a memory. Then there's you see the memory going over. And then you start to have a feeling. So your eyes fall on the ring. It brings you a memory. Now you're watching the memory. You're watching this memory take place. Then you have a feeling about it, which sends the feeling into your heart. I'm going to tell you right now, that feeling feels bad. That's how you're going to describe it to me. You're going to tell me, Sharon, that it feels bad. It feels like bad energy. All of this is going on. All of this is going on at the same time. At the same time, you have 3 friends over here talking. And they're talking about the Spider-Man movie they just went to see. But you're over here looking at all of this stuff. Your brain has taken you over here. Why? Because it feels this bad memory, this bad emotion. I'm calling it bad because you guys, that's the word. I'm calling it bad emotion, or it feels a sad emotion, right? Bad, sad, ugly. It feels an emotion that doesn't feel good. And it wants to take you away from it. So now it's going to take you back to the ring. So all of this is happening on a loop. All of this is happening on a loop. Because once you go to the memory about the ring, you also remember have the memory about the sock drawer and the fight. It looped you into another memory. They are still talking about the movie. And then out of nowhere, one of them says, and what did you think about the movie, Kim? Kimberly, I used your name. What did you think about the movie, Kim? And it's like this. You go, what? What movie? What are you guys talking about? And then they start to laugh. Because to them, you were in the conversation. To them, we all 4 of us were having this conversation. But your grief took you out of the moment because you're not in the present moment. You're in every other moment but the present. You are running. Let me show you this, you guys. Your brain is going past, present, past, present, past, present, past, present, past, present. It's going crazy between the 3. And a lot of times when we get right here, we start spinning on this past memory. And we can't get out of it. And it makes us think we're going crazy. Here's my question. How many conversations has slipped through your fingers because your mind was drowning in the grief? How many times did you think you were going to You really were going crazy, but it was just your mind drowning in the grief. Friends, intellectual grief is a huge part of what we study in the Forever Changed weekend. Let me stop right here and tell you this. Forever Change Intensive Weekend, we talk about this exact thing. We talk about the grief brain. There is a thing called the griever's brain. I want to teach you this. We finally understand why we feel foggy, why we're forgetting, why we're distracted, and why we're out of control. You learn that you're not broken, you're just grieving. You get real tools to help you steady yourself again, to be kind to yourself, get advice. So that's what we talk about in Forever Change. Nothing is wrong with you. This is grief. And grief has a way to go through. It has to go through. There's no way around it. Absolutely no way. Here's the other thing that we talk about a lot is how time doesn't fix it. You've been told over and over again, just give it time. It takes time. Just wait. I promise you, just take time. I waited for the time. I waited for the focus to return. I waited for the focus to return. I waited to feel myself again. One of the things that I didn't know about feeling myself again is that I was forever changed. And the new self, the self that I was waiting to feel was, I thought it was going to be that old girl. Yeah, that didn't happen. But days turned into weeks turned into months, and nothing changed. I was still forgetting appointments. I was burning dinners. I was forgetting to pay bills. I was still losing track of my own mind. Time wasn't healing anything. It just wasn't. It wasn't what they said it was going to be. And here's the truth. Nobody wants to say this out loud. Time doesn't heal your grief brain. Time does not heal your grief brain. The only thing that I can see that time does is get you further and further away from the day, right? So here's day 1. Here's day 90. And here's day 320. The only thing that I can see that time actually does is get you further and further away from the day. It just gets you further and further away from the day. And with us getting further and further away from the day, we absolutely do, the intensity of the pain does lessen by getting further and further away from the day, right? So if the pain is 100 here, at day 90, it might be a 98 to a 70. That's the pain. And why is that? Why is that? Because the pain starts to float down. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. Right here, the pain is here. But here it's starting to float down. And by day 320, it's really floated down. And this may be a 100%, and this may be a 98%, and over here you might be a 50%. 50%, meaning any day you could be anything. But when you do your work, your grief work, your much needed grief work, it looks like this. Still 98% here. It's 100% here. I'm just going to put a question mark because it depends on where you start. It looks like this. It's not connected anymore. There may be some residual that we still have to take care of. There might be some missing them. But I promise you, you're going to be at a negative 9% on pain. Because we're going to look at all of this. We're going to look at all of this that is taking place in you. And we're going to work our damnness to get that out of there. And it's going to bring you back into your present moment. It'll bring you back into your present moment. Are you becoming a stranger to yourself? Do you not even recognize who you see anymore? Do you not even recognize her? The hardest part of all of this isn't forgetting, it's feeling that I'm not me anymore. Who am I without her? Who am I without him? I look in the mirror and I don't even recognize the woman staring back at me. I used to be dependable. I was organized. I was sharp. Now I don't even trust myself. I don't trust my body. I can't even trust my own emotions. And then people, they start looking at me differently. They're not asking me to do things. They whisper that I'm not the same. And they're right, because I'm not. But it's not because I'm broken. It is because I am grieving. It is because you are grieving 100%. Thank you, Suzanne, for the gifts. You are grieving. Here's a question. Do you feel you've become a stranger to yourself? Do you know who she is? It feels like time just makes us more adept at avoiding. It makes us more adept at avoiding. And then the intensity of the pain drops a little bit. And because the intensity of the pain drops, that's the only thing that I can figure out why people say give it time, because the intensity drops. But Miss Suzanne, let's say the intensity were to drop. Let's say I was wrong. Let's say a day 200, the intensity were to drop to a 30% pain level. It's still this, but the intensity of it is at a 30%. Every time something happens that reminds you of him, or that smells like him, or that sounds like him, guess what happens to this 30%? It immediately goes back to 100%. It immediately goes back. It's like you never even did any grief work at all. It just shoots right back up. Because the heart remembers. It doesn't forget. You can take it far, far, far away, but it remembers. Until you get in there and you clean out the shit, it will remember. It will continue to remember. No doubt in my mind. I was talking about forever change the intensity. We don't just sit around and sit in our grief. I think that's what a lot of people think. We're just going to sit around and powwow. It is not a grief support group. It is part grief support, part learning, and part doing. It is all three put together. We will write, we will talk, we will cry, we will breathe. We will actually take the chaos that's swirling around in your head and we start putting it down on the paper. We give words to what you're feeling. We give words to what you're experiencing. We start doing some real healing. We start practicing guided exercises. You'll discover the ways to get out of the fog instead of drowning in it. You won't just sit in a room filled with women and cry all day. Trust me, I'm not putting you guys in a hot tent. There will be no hot rocks. There will be no massages. I'm not going to be rubbing your back. We're going to get down and dirty and do the work in person. We're going to do it in person. You finally get to do the healing work. You will finally get to do the healing work that you showed up for. I was just talking about this, and now it's on my notes. The body keeps score. Your body keeps score. Your brain isn't just what's going on in your head. Your grief brain isn't just what's going on in your head. It's what's also going on in your body. You feel it in your bones. You feel it in your muscle ache. Your chest feels heavy. Your stomach feels twisted. You feel exhausted. You can't sleep. You've slept for 12 hours. And when you wake up, you still feel tired. Your body carries the weight of this grief. And the brain fog is just a part of that weight. The whole time I was grieving, my body was telling me the truth. But my mind couldn't make sense of it. It could not make sense of it. Grief lives in every cell of your body. And until you start processing it the proper way, your body is going to be screaming for help. And the way that it screams for help is through the confusion in your brain. Where do you feel the grief the most? Where do you feel it the most? Is your brain confused? Are you in brain fog? Or do you feel it in your body? Do you feel it in your heart? Do you feel it in your thoughts? Do you feel it in your words? Where do you feel the grief the most? I don't even know how many times I can say this because this was so important to me. When I got into my grief class, the first thing she said to me was the first thing she said, I want everyone to hear to know you are not broken, you are grieving. And then the next thing she said, which was the most important to Erica, she said, there are no 5 stages of grief. And in the middle of the class, Erica said, thank God, I thought I was doing this wrong. And it was funny because everyone laughed. But the thing that was so amazing to me was to hear her say, you are not broken. Because until I got there, I truly thought I was broken. I thought this grief was breaking me. It's what I needed her to tell me. I needed to know I wasn't broken, that I was just grieving. And this is what grief felt like. And that grief had hijacked my brain. And that it took the sharpness and the focus and the energy, all of the stuff that I thought I had. And it started to become impossible for me to even function in these things. This isn't forever. It wasn't permanent, but I didn't know that. I did not know that at the time. I didn't know the fog was going to lift when I started to face the pain. I didn't know that if I started to process and move some of the grief, instead of pretending that I was fine, that the energy, the negative energy would actually come off of me. I didn't know that. Grief brain is a sign that you are carrying too much alone. If you feel stuck in your grief brain, there's a huge possibility that you might be carrying too much of the grief alone, that you're not talking about it. Maybe you're not talking about it. Maybe you're not sharing it with others. Maybe it's not moving. Maybe it's just sitting there. I miss him so much, Jennifer says. My heart to yours, Miss Jennifer. Share his name with us, just his first name. Just his first name, so we can give you love, 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 love. Dennis. Everyone, can we tap, tap, tap the screen for Jennifer and Dennis? I know that you miss him, sweetie. I know that you miss him. I don't know how much you miss him, but I know that you miss him. And we see you, my love. Know that we see you. We know that you're here. When we get into the Forever Change, which is September 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th, you're going to come out feeling lighter. You're going to be clearer. You're going to feel more like yourself because the grief brain is insisting that you go through it. And we're going to go through it. And I promise you, it will not be, you won't be left with fear. You'll finally have tools to walk through it. You're going to have like when she said I wasn't broken, that was an aha moment for me. You're going to understand that you're not crazy, that you are not broken, and that you are grieving. That's what we're truly going to understand. All right. If you're standing in your kitchen with the refrigerator door open and you have no idea why you're there, and you've been sitting in a meeting at work for 45 minutes and you don't even know what they're talking about, and if you're staring at yourself in the mirror and wondering who you are now and why you look so old and why you look so tired, if any of those are you, plus any of the things that I didn't mention, I want you to hear me now. You're not crazy. You are not broken. You are grieving. And grief brain is a real thing. And this is what happened when your heart gets shattered, when it can't figure out what is the next move. And you don't have to stay here. Hey, Miss Joanne. Forever Change is the place that we're going to be tackling that. We're going to be tackling the pain there. That's where we're going to go after it. That's where you and I together are going to go after this pain in your heart, this pain in your gut. We're going to take a look at it step by step. Sorry. I just had to change that. It wasn't working. Okay. I want to tackle this with you. There's no reason that you have to stay like this and stay in this pain. Recently at the funeral of Lawrence, my mom's husband, a lady came up as she knew Erica and I from Facebook and from all the lives. And she was just sharing how what we are sharing is so impactful for us. And one of the things that Erica said to her, isn't it refreshing to have someone lead you and guide you? Because when we were there, when it was Erica and I, we were literally just trying to figure this out for ourselves. We didn't know. We didn't know what we were doing. She sure as heck didn't know. And I was the one trying to figure it out for all of us. And it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Trying to figure out the next move, how to move beyond this grief, how to move the grief, how to get the grief pain going. It was tough. It was really tough. All right. I want to share with you guys. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be live at 8 a.m. And I'm going to be talking about what questions you still have that you feel you need answer to. It's going to be a little short live. I have some clients tomorrow, but I'm going to come on for a little short live. And tomorrow night is going to be Ask Me Anything. Tomorrow night is going to be Ask Me Anything. I have some questions that I have that I didn't read from the lecture hall. So I'm going to be using some of those. I'm going to be answering those lives. But tomorrow night is going to be Ask the Grief Specialist Anything. That's what we're going to be doing tomorrow night at 7 p.m. All right. Wednesday morning, there's also going to be a short live at 9 a.m. I just want to let you guys know where I'm going to be. And there's going to be a short masterclass, a mini masterclass on the 10th. So there's some stuff coming up. Yeah. You think that's adventurous? I'm going to try and see if I can get Erica to come in with me. I'm going to try to see if I can get her to hook up on that one tomorrow on the Ask the Specialist, because I think it'll be cool for you guys to see the two of us together in action. See us how it's been. We can typically, I haven't even asked her yet, but I'll call her and see. Okay, now I'm going to ask you guys some questions. When was the first time you noticed that your brain didn't work the same after the loss? Was it immediately? Do you think it was immediately, or do you think it slowly started to come in after? Do you think immediately you noticed your brain wasn't working? It wasn't immediate for me. In the immediate, I was trying to keep up with everything that was going on. It was some days, weeks, and months later that something would happen, and then something would happen, and it just slowly kind of seeped in until it was like gone. Until it was, Becky says slowly. Sarah says slowly. Becky says slowly. Yeah, it just seeped in slowly. Yes or no? Have you ever been scared that you thought you were going crazy? Have you ever been scared that you were going crazy because of your grief brain? Yes or no? Have you ever been crazy of your grief brain? Miss Suzanne says, I think it hit me after the initial business was done. Yeah, that's around the time. So we're doing all the business of grief, planning the funeral, doing all the stuff. And I feel like it was after the funeral when things actually slowed down. Debbie said at the beginning. She definitely felt it at the beginning. Have you ever felt like you were going crazy? Sarah said yes. Flaw Girl said yes. Suzanne said yes. Felt like they were going busy. What is the most frustrating thing that you've forgotten since your person died? Becky says, I've been losing my memory. I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot. The other thing that I know is once you do your work, your memory will come back. What is the most frustrating thing you've forgotten since your person died? Joanne says reality hit after the 1-year anniversary. That's huge. Debbie says the date. Yeah. Hey, Angelica, freaks you out, right, Debbie? Freaks you out when you think you can forget something that important. Sarah says, every time I go to the store, I forget something on my list. I forgot to renew Lexi's insurance. Oh, my heart to yours, love. Ah, yeah. That one is tough. That one's big. Do you feel, okay, next question. Do you feel like other people are noticing it when you're not fully present? Do you think other people are aware of it? What is wrong with her? Why can't she keep it together? Do you think other people are aware of your not being fully present? Going crazy was before the death. Things were chaotic. That makes sense, Miss Joanne. Jennifer says, no, people don't notice it. A week from today will be my little brother's death day anniversary, 4 years, and I hate this month. What are you planning, Angelica? Don't just hate on the month. Plan the celebration. Plan the celebration to continue celebrating him. Suzanne said, especially when your brain freezes mid. Yes, through a thought. Yes. Becky says, yes, sometimes, but I usually make a joke about it. Sarah says, sometimes, but we usually make a joke about it. Rebecca says, oh, yes. Rebecca Call says, oh, yes, absolutely. Debbie says she don't care if they notice. She's just doing it anyway. Fly Girl says 7 months now, and I'm more forgetful and have trouble focusing sometimes. I believe that. I absolutely believe that. I have to think of something. Sharon, my heart hurts. Both can be true, Angelica. Your heart can hurt, and you can still be planning something to celebrate him. Both things can be true. Allow both things to be there, and be okay with both things being there. I really want to tell you that. Have you ever blamed yourself personally? This is another question. Have you ever blamed yourself personally for something your grief brain caused you to forget? Miss Becky, have you ever, are you blaming yourself for the insurance incident? And do you really believe it was because of the grief brain? That the grief brain played a part in it? And if it is, definitely. She says definitely. Do you feel more forgetful or distracted or numb? Okay, of all the ones, which one feels more to you? Forgetful, distracted, or numb? Or all of the above? Does one stand out more for you? I would have never forgotten before. Yeah, Miss Becky. Yep. Sarah says she feels more numb. Sarah says she feels more numb. Are you forgetful, distracted, or numb? Do you think other people understand grief brain? Do you think other people give you space for grief brain? Are people in the world giving you space for grief brain? Debbie says, I still feel disconnected. I believe you would, Debbie. I believe that makes sense. You and mom were such a team together. Sarah says, not at all. I want to be okay with the grief and the hurt hearts, but I'm not. I'm very distracted, and he is constantly on my mind. Suzanne says she just tells people that she has grief brain. She lets them know right up front. I have grief brain. And if you can't understand it, then this is on you. I have griever's brain. Rebecca says, no, ma'am. Even after 2.5 years, my processing is sluggish. I wonder, Miss Rebecca, if that's because you're holding on to it for fear of losing more of him. That was what we talked about a lot in the masterclass yesterday, was the fear of holding on to that grief for fear that we would lose some of the love, and we don't. And I'm not sure if you signed up for that, but if you didn't, let me know. I would love to send you the videotape. I was tired. I will tell you I was tired. I think that people pity us. I think that people pity us. Pity. Okay, I'm looking this up. I wanted to look exactly at it. Pity is the feeling of sorrow and compassion. So they feel sorry for you and they have compassion caused by the suffering or misfortune of others. A cause of regret or disappointment. Oh, the feeling sorry for the misfortune. But is that such a bad thing, Miss Debbie? Is that such a feeling of sorrow and compassion caused by the suffering and misfortune of others? And do they really pity us? Hmm. Oh man, I'd like to look a little deeper in that. I love that. Hey, Bella Red, how you doing, my love? I can take the pitying, but not the babying. Well, but and I don't. I I feel like it's lack of tolerance. I don't think they have tolerance. Lisa said prayers and loves to everyone. I think there's just like lack of tolerance. I don't know that pity shows up so much. A feeling of sorrow and compassion. I think if people actually had sorrow and compassion, Miss Debbie, don't you think they would show up differently than us? Because this hurry up, hurry up, we need to move on. It's the look that goes along with it. Bella Red said there's a lack of compassion and grace. I think my hoarding issues got worse after my sister died. Why? There was a fear in there. Miss Julie, there was a fear in there. There's a fear. It was a fear. It could be completely attached to the loss, right? I can't lose this. I already lost her. I can't lose this, and I can't lose this, and I can't lose this because I've already lost her. I could connect the dots right back to that. I could connect the dots right back to it. Because isn't it? It's almost the same thing that people that have been through the depression or been through tough times that they do. The hoarding comes from that fear of not having, that fear of loss, and then we have the loss, and then we also you cleaned a little of his desk. Good for you. Bella Red said she cleaned a little bit of her husband's desk. Wow. Rebecca said, after 2.5 years, my processing is sluggish. And I asked her if she's feeling scared to let that go. I believe so. I don't, but I'd love the opportunity to watch the video. Okay, so you didn't sign up. So, okay, I'm going to try to remember to send that to you. Let me make a note of that, Rebecca. That's what we talked about yesterday. They are afraid of grief. They don't want grief to rub off on them. Others are definitely afraid of grief. They do not want the grief to rub on. They don't want to get what you have. We see it a lot in couples when they lose their partner. We see it a lot in couples when they lose their partner. She's Miss Bella. Thank you for asking. She said that. She said to my sister yesterday. She said, "I'm starting to feel all alone again." She said, "I'm starting to feel all alone again, like when your dad died." And see that the timing is almost perfect for that. Hear me out, because to all this whole time I was there, we were packing, we were keeping busy. She was doing the keeping busy. Not that she was doing it. I was doing things with her, keeping her busy. And then, because we had to get a certain amount of things done before I left. And then we went to the funeral, and then there was this lull, right before the funeral, because everything was done. So it was like perfect timing, that exactly where I would have expected it. Not perfect timing, exactly where I would have expected it. How does it feel when people don't understand your grief brain? How does it feel? Is it frustrating? Does it make you mad? Do you give them a pass? Do you give them a pass and just like, well, you're just ignorant. It's not my fault. You don't understand. Do you just give them a pass? I don't know. For me, I think I see so many people as not understanding it that I just like Suzanne says it's irritating. It's definitely irritating. I find it very interesting the way people grieve. It's so funny. Depends on the level of ignorance. Good call, Miss Sarah. That's good. She said it depends on the level of ignorance and what you expected from them. That's the other thing. That is so true. She said it depends on the level of ignorance, how much ignorance they come, and what level did you expect them to be at. If it's your best friend, you're expecting her to be a certain way. And when she shows up with pure ignorance, it's irritating. And when they're not your person, it makes it even harder. Bertie said it makes me lonely. They don't understand if they haven't been there. Yes, you're right. You're 100% right, Bernie. One, if they haven't been there, they don't understand. But we actually have grievers who have partners and friends who have been there, but because they grieved it in a certain way, because they handled it a certain way, they expect you to show up that way. And that's where what Miss Sarah was saying makes so much sense. It depends on the level of ignorance. Yeah. Jennifer says, when people don't know me, I feel embarrassed by it. When people don't know me, I feel embarrassed by the grief. I could see that. When we're in a crowd of people that we don't know, oh yeah, we're not, you have to feel safe in order to share your grief. You have to feel safe. You have to feel like the person's going to listen to you. You have to be able to feel heard. You have to feel like you can do something without being judged and without comparison. You don't want them comparing your loss to theirs. Even if you've lost a child and they've lost a child, I don't want you comparing it. Joanne said, good night, my dear. Good night, love. Even if they can, even if they understand they've had the exact same grief you've had, doesn't mean they're going to get it. Bella said, all I want to say is get out of my face. Yeah, I'm with you. I want to say get out of my face too. Becky says, my husband really thought we should be done grieving after the funeral. Becky, when I tell you that so many people believe that, hear me when I tell you this. So many, it shocks me. Here's the other thing. It is only going to start after the funeral. For a lot of us, it will only start after the funeral. Because you got all this business of grief to take care of. You got to plan the funeral. You got to call family. You got to figure out what to wear. I had to figure out what to wear for my mom. I was packing up stuff for her. And in order for me to figure out what she was going to wear, we realized that she had lost a lot of weight and nothing was going to fit. So then I had to go shopping. But I was in a town where I didn't know where the mall was. And my mother's in the early stages of dementia. So she couldn't tell me how to get to the mall either. I'm laughing because I got lost. And she was like, do you think we are going to get there before the store closes? It was like 10 a.m. I had to get her an outfit, and then I had to give special care because of the early dementia. I had to like move her slowly. So we went to a couple stores and then we got lunch in between and then we got home and it was like everything was moving. Everything was going. At the same time, her stepdaughter was getting all the pictures and they're making the poster boards and all of this is the business of grief. They're making poster boards. They're talking to the funeral home. They're talking to the priest. They're talking to the church. No, my mom didn't pass. Her husband passed, my love. My mother's, she said, very funny, MK. My mother's, husband passed away. About a month ago. And I was in Arizona. If you still saw me, I still worked while I was there. So you may have still seen me on the live, my friend. No, don't worry about that. It's okay. It was still really hard. So that was my point, is that while we were doing all of that, then as it started to slow down, right, is where I started to see the grief start to come up in there. Charlene said something. Charlene's my sister, and she said something the other day. She goes, "She's getting quiet." That's how she described it. She said she's getting quiet. Like we would be sitting in a room, everybody's talking, and she's not engaging in the conversation. She was starting to get quiet. I think the grief is just now starting to hit her. Yeah. So she's got some more stuff to do, to take care of. She's got to go to LA to take care of some business, and then she has a wedding, and then she'll be kind of slowing down at my sister's. But I called her today. She didn't answer the phone. Yes, grief is really, really tough. Do you feel like you've lost constant confidence in yourself since the grief brain started? Do you trust yourself? Yes or no? Do you trust yourself? Do you feel like you've lost confidence in yourself since it started? Yes or no? Have you lost confidence in yourself? Greetings from NC. Today is my brother's birthday. I lost him 3 years ago, and I've lost four in the past 5 years. Ram, my heart to yours, love. Can you tell us brother's first name so we can wish him a happy birthday, please? Just his first name. Everybody, when Ram puts his name, her brother's name in, can we tap, tap, tap the screen for Ram and for her brother? Becky says no. The question was, do you feel like you lost confidence? Becky says no, she hasn't lost confidence in herself. Lammy says yes. Debbie says, I worry about forgetting. Jennifer says no. Sarah says sometimes. Not so much confidence, but identity. Very good. Well, uh, um, Bella Red, I would imagine that there's huge identity crisis there. His name is Mark. Everybody, can we wish Mark a happy birthday? Let's tap, 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 tap the screen for Ram and Mark. Lammy says, I'm in the business of making decisions for a living. I would imagine that your brain feels like mush, my love. Becky says, I don't trust myself. I think I will starting putting things, putting more things on myself. Yes. Yes. I think I feel a lot more insecure. My faith was shaken. I agree with you on that. Joanne says, gained confidence. She's gained some confidence. Yes, that is true. You guys, the opposite can happen in a loss. The opposite can happen. It absolutely can happen. If your person was the one that always took care of everything and you didn't feel sure of yourself, and now you're the person who's having to take care of everything, you absolutely can gain confidence. Ram says, thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. This is kind of the same question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you feel like you're not you anymore? Do you feel like you're not you anymore? Joanne says, making all the decisions. Yes. Jennifer says, yes. I feel like I'm not me. Debbie says, yep. Joanne says, a new me. A new me. Bella Red said, yes. Suzanne says, absolutely. Angelica, yes, 100%. User 0599 says, I feel different. Becky said, just recently. Flagro says, yes. Lammy says, I'm a stronger person that took care of many things, but it's amazing how much my partner did. Yeah. Oh, that is so true. Sarah says, I'm definitely not the same person. Patty says, sometimes. Liz Am said, yes. I, for sure, 100% feel like I'm not the same person. In some ways, I think I feel stronger. But I don't know. I don't know who she is. I think she's different. I don't hate her. I don't hate who she is now, but she's got some battle scars. She's been through a lot. She's been through a lot. I don't hate her. She's learned a lot, but she's not the same person. I would even say that that she was a little bit weaker, even though she showed up stronger. Hear me out on this. I was weak and unsure of myself, which is also why I did the be strong. So imagine this. Imagine a little chihuahua backed into a corner and how he's growling and yelling and barking. That was me. I was growling, yelling, and barking because I was scared. I had fear. I just tried right now, but I don't feel like I can be. Patty says, I feel like I anger more easily. That's what I feel. I'm slightly less tolerant than I ever was before. Suzanne says she's slightly less tolerant. Yeah. Rebecca says, yes, a very different me. Chrissy says she's not sure she's the same person. I'm not the same person. Yeah. I don't think. I try to be needed, but it's not feeling like I am. Angelica says, I've been impatient witch. I'm not tolerant to customer service reps. They are ridiculous. Well, okay, so we lost customer service a long time ago. I don't know. I don't know if that has anything to do with grief because I just do not have the patience for it. I do not have the patience for it. Oh my gosh, is that a grieving thing? No, I think it was just a witch thing. Sometimes Tony will tell me, it's not their fault. They're just trying to do their job. Well, they need to do their job better or faster or something. I don't know. Where in your body do you feel the weight of the grief brain? Is it headaches? Is it chest? Is it stomach? Where do you feel it in your body? Where do you feel the weight of the grief brain? Chest. Jennifer says my chest. I think it was a combination of my chest and my head. Throat. Sarah says chest and throat. In my eyes. Oh, yes. Suzanne said her eyes, and that is very interesting. She can definitely feel it in her eyes. She can tell when it's time for her to cry. How do you define grief brain? Grief brain is the fog. Excuse me. It's the forgetting what you were doing, forgetting mid conversation, forgetting what was going on, not being able to stay in a conversation. Grief brain is, and the reason that it's happening, Lammy, is because you're taken out of the moment. So everyone around you could be having a conversation about I said this is my example earlier about the Spider-Man movie. So they're all talking about the Spider-Man movie. You're sitting there, you're in the conversation, but immediately your brain is trying to protect you because you might feel something, right? So you feel sadness, you feel you're missing your person, and all of a sudden you look down. This is the example I gave, and you look at your wedding ring, and now your brain brings you to a memory about that ring. And now your brain is playing the memory of the ring. They're all talking still about the movie. Your brain brings you to a memory about the ring and it connects to another memory, which makes more sadness come in your heart. And this is happening so fast. They're still in the conversation and then they ask you a question. That was the best example I could give. Or not remembering to pay your bills or not remembering to take care of things. Or just the exhaustion. Bella says, my mind is wandering and feeling stuck in slow motion. Yeah. And I really just don't care about blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't either. Rebecca says she feels it in her chest and in her throat. Rebecca says she feels it in her chest and her throat. Body aches and pain. I think for sure in my brain and my heart. How would your life change if you could think clearly again? How would your life change if you could go back through those moments, have the memories, and be okay with them? Charlie Brown teacher voice, wah, wah, wah. Yeah, that totally describes it. But if your brain could think clearly through the memories, if you could go into the memory, have the memory, even experience the emotion, but come right back into your present moment, do you think that would make a difference for you? Because that's ultimately where we're trying to get you to. That's ultimately when you do your work, that's what it's going to be like. You're going to see your ring, you're going to have the memory, you're going to go into the ring memory, you're going to feel the emotion, and they're going to say, yes, but Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to pick your head up and you'll go right back to the conversation. That's what it's going to be like. Debbie says, I know it does. Yes, there'll be less pain and more love. Because when you go in there, the memory you're going to have is going to be about the love, about him giving you the ring, about fitting the ring. I practiced that unintentionally when I went out with Chris's friends. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Chris is her son, guys, and Chris had some really great friends, and she was able to practice that with him. Okay. Trying to teach my brother about that. Yeah. I want to ask you guys something, yes or no. Do you feel like if you really healed the grief, the brokenness in your heart, that it would also help your brain fog? If you really went after the pain in your heart, would it help your grief brain? Your grief, that's my last question. Would it help your grief frog? Grief fog, not frog. Would it help your brain? Jennifer says yes. I agree. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. I think so, Angelica says. Sarah says yes. Lism says yes. Patty, yes. Suzanne says frog. I was watching some of the videos. There's this little words. I'm trying to talk so fast. I say words wrong, but hey, I just keep it moving. Keep it moving, sister. Not much fog right now. Joanne, did you have fog in the beginning? Ribbit? You guys are so funny. They're all over here teasing me about the frog. Frog, yes. Yeah, so some of it is worn off. Sometimes what happens, Miss Joanne, when the fog wears off, there's more pain. The fog goes down and then the pain comes up. It's really interesting how that happens. Very, very interesting. Okay, loves. Going to be on tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. at around the 12th month. It's 8 to 12 months. Yeah, I see around the 4 to 6 month, but 8 to 12 month, yeah, perfect timing. I'm going to be on for a little teaser tomorrow. What question do you still want answers to? That's what I'm going to, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you, Miss Suzanne. 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to be in the Facebook group also. So if you don't get on the TikTok, you guys look for the Facebook group. I'm not going to stay on. Look at that. Those, where do you find those? It'll be in the Facebook group. So if you're not a member of the Facebook group, make sure you go there. If you're new here and you want to know anything about me, click on the link in the bio that says click here for hope. If you want to know, if you're in the Facebook group now and you want to click on anything, you just click on the link at the bottom of the post. That's 9 a.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to go in the Facebook group and in TikTok tomorrow morning for a quick live. And then tomorrow night is going to be Ask Me Anything. And I'm going to see if I can get Erica to come on. I don't know, but I will try. I'm not making any promises. And I hope I can get to her before she makes any other plans. It's at 7 p.m. tomorrow. All right, guys, I'm going to get off. I am exhausted. Sorry. I'm going to jump off. We had to, tomorrow night on TikTok and in the Facebook group at 7 p.m., which will be 8 p.m. Eastern time. We had to go buy school shoes today. I took them to buy school shoes. We woke up this morning and all of a sudden none of the shoes fit. And everything they had is a size 7. They each had one pair of size 8 and they wear a 9. So we went school shoe shopping. But I just have to tell you, the little girl, oh my gosh, she wanted pink ballerina shoes, which there were no pink ballerina shoes. And so I walked around, went to 2 stores, couldn't find any. But anyway, the whole time I'm picking up shoes that I know that I'm buying for her because she's going to wear these. But she keeps telling me, well, I have an orange. But I want pink ballerina shoes. So every time I show her a pair of shoes, no, this is orange, as if we're matching it to the outfit. That's number one. Number two, and then when I showed her and she didn't like it, she said, no, she's 3, you guys. She's 3. Those are not my size. Those are not my size. So it was quite interesting, but we got some school shoes. So I love you all. I will see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. Yes, Central Standard Time. Yes, that's what I'm planning. I'm going to get up and walk, and I'm going to come back in here. You guys will see me with no makeup on tomorrow. I'm going to jump on. So I will see you in the morning. I love you all. Thank you, friends. Thank you. Good night.